Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 144. We're going to be talking about a prehistoric marine reptile, and that marine reptile is Kronosaurus. And so here's an artist rendition of what Kronosaurus possibly looked like, and that's a beautiful set of art piece right there. So information about Kronosaurus. Kronosaurus means Kronos lizard, named after the Greek titan Kronos. Length 30 to 36 feet, 9 to 11 meters. Weight 10 tons, 20,000 pounds. Lived 120 to 100 million years ago in the early Cretaceous period. Found in Australia and in Colombia. The Colombian one, that's a different species of Kronosaurus, and it was described by Longman in 1924. So in the upper left corner here, here's a map of Australia. That's where the original Kronosaurus was actually found. And so some of the parts of Australia would actually have some of the Kronosaurus fossils, and you're going to be looking at limestone type of formations where you can find Kronosaurus fossils in Australia. Here's the size of Kronosaurus right there, size description compared to a human swimmer. Very large animal, and so I would not be in the ocean if this thing was actually swimming. And here's a artist rendition of the skeleton of a Kronosaurus skeleton, and Kronosaurus' majority of the skeleton has been found. There has been some controversy with one Kronosaurus skeleton that actually possibly has too many vertebrae in the neck, and so, but that's only for one specimen. But let's actually continue on, shall we? And Kronosaurus actually belongs to the group of marine reptiles called Pliosauridae. So it's actually has cousins like Pliosaurus, Liopleurodon, the list goes on and on. And the descriptions of, or the physical features of a pliosaurid is a really long skull, four flippers, cone-shaped teeth, and they have a very powerful bite force. So when you actually look at the teeth of Kronosaurus, they're actually going to be cone-shaped, no serrations. There is going to be no serrations in the teeth of Kronosaurus because, see, if you're going to be living in the ocean, you need to have teeth that are going to grab and hang on to your prey, and that's what Kronosaurus was able to do. And it has a very powerful bite, so it would actually do pretty good damage to its prey, like going through bone, just ripping chunks of flesh. I mean, you name it. The environment and where Kronosaurus would actually be living in the oceans, of course, would be warm and subtropical, and not too much to go in with the environment here, but there would actually be lots of corals, invertebrates, and the invertebrates would be like belemnites, ammonites, and some regular forms of squid, and sea urchins, those sorts of things. Of course, fish, sharks, pterosaurs flying above the surface, and there you have plesiosaurs, turtles, and ichthyosaurs. And so ichthyosaurs were kind of on the decline a bit starting in the Cretaceous period, but you actually will see some ichthyosaurs still roaming around 120 to 100 million years ago. Some predators and prey. The prey that Kronosaurus would actually be eating is plesiosaurs, some small to medium-sized variety of plesiosaurs. Fish, sharks occasionally can actually grab a pterosaur if it had to. Ichthyosaurs, and even juvenile Kronosaurus. So it would be a cannibal from time to time. But of course, the predators, sharks. Sharks would actually would pretty much attack a juvenile Kronosaurus, and then a larger Kronosaurus, basically the adults, would actually be feasting on the younger Kronosaurus. But you get the idea. So you actually will see a whole mess of a predation going on in the oceans at that time. The extinction of Kronosaurus, mostly due to climate change, so the currents would be changing, and the fish stocks would actually be moving elsewhere and also be dropping, and some shark species would actually be going extinct. But the most important thing that would actually be happening around 100 million years ago, new marine reptiles were actually coming in at that time. And the one particular type of marine reptile that was actually beginning to actually start to take its reign around 100 million years ago is the mosasaurs. Mosasaurs were actually going to be out competing the pliosaurs for the remaining fish stocks, shark stocks, and even marine reptiles. And so you actually will have a big swing of a change for predation. So the top predator would actually be changing. And so that would actually be the Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus would be taking the top spot away from the Pliosaurus, and the Pliosaurus could not compete with that. And so that's why Kronosaurus would actually go extinct, because Mosasaurus were actually starting to appear around 100 million years ago. So here's a map of what Earth would have looked like 120 million years ago. Australia is still connected to Antarctica, so you would still have this little inner seaway here in Australia. So that's probably where Kronosaurus was actually mostly going to be found, and even in the outer parts of Australia right here too. So you actually will have a bunch of, you probably have some Kronosaurs actually living around there. And then Colombia would actually be right around here, and so the different kind of species of Kronosaurus would actually be living up here. There has been some speculation that there possibly might have been a type of Kronosaurus found in the United States, but that is still debatable of whether or not that is a type of pliosaur. But we'll actually have to see when new evidence actually comes out. So the next episode will actually be on October 31st, 2019. So on Halloween, it'll be a Q&A episode, and I'll be filming in the museum, of course. And so check that. No, you guys can check that out once that is actually going to happen. And if you got any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts of Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions on the wall or in the comment section. And also for YouTubers out there, make sure to feel to like, subscribe, and leave your questions in the comments section, because I read them all and I take them by heart, and I'll try to pronounce the YouTube name that you have, because sometimes they're pretty tricky, but I can actually try my best. And so feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, and also give the videos a like, so that way it helps out the channel a lot, helps me out, and to continue this show from going for many kinds of months, years. And so, but remember, keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. Also, for younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have a good education. It's very important to have good education. With a good education, get a good job in the future. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.